Over 30 days ago, I bought the Insta360 Luna Ultra. I wanted to know if this was another pocket camera or does it actually offer something special. Here's what you should know if you're thinking on getting one. At 233 grams, the form factor looks chunky, but it's still pocketable. At least those of us with deep pockets. I also like the way that it packed into my everyday backpack and sling. What I thought was pretty sleek is how they built a tripod into the bottom of this extended grip. So that's one less accessory to worry about. Build quality is still a little plasticky, but it's solid and feels good in the hand. With the included case, we get 360 degrees of protection. And inside, there are 2 magnetic slots for filters. The biggest reason to pay attention to this camera has got to be the 2 lenses. We have a 20mm lens and a 60mm lens, which gives us a wide and a mid-range angle to get different shots. I've always loved a small wide angle lens for vlogging on something like an Osmo Action 6, but I always wish I could zoom in a little more without compromising on image quality, since digital zoom isn't the best on most cameras. This lens setup, however, is the one I didn't know I needed. I mean, who asks for 2 lenses side by side? With this, you get up to 12 times zoom, so you can go from wide to telephoto quickly. In the camera world, that's 20 to 240 millimeters. But here's the catch. While it functions similarly to a camcorder, keeping a consistent zoom from wide to telephoto, on this camera it has to switch from one lens to the other, so you'll see a sudden shift in the framing while having this continuous zoom. To make this less obvious, there's a mode called breathing compensation under the Pro menu. Turning this on smoothens the zoom much more. Just know that by turning this on, it does crop into the footage just a little, so if you need the widest angle for filming yourself, keep that in mind. Having 2 lenses though isn't enough on its own to say this camera is worth the hype, but this next feature might change your mind. You see, the screen comes off, and now it turns into a wireless monitor, a remote, and even a mic. Normally we're just used to seeing a joystick, record button, but something new that we haven't seen is a zoom rocker and 2 custom buttons. These 2 buttons can be programmed to 4 different functions, separated by single press and double press. While it's great to have this much control on the device, my one wish is that they'd let us customize it just a little bit more. While you're able to lock the gimbal and change certain modes, I do wish that we could use single presses to just jump straight to 1 times zoom to 3 times zoom, or any other zoom range specifically, so that I don't have to rely on my zoom rocker. The zoom rocker already is a premium addition to this form factor. We have the option to have short presses for quick zooms and long press for gradual and incremental zooms. When disconnecting the screen from the device, how far can we really go? Well, it's rated for 60 feet, but anywhere in between, you can immediately notice that your image quality starts to drop just by the preview. This doesn't affect the actual footage that comes out of the camera. While it is lower quality in the preview screen, you can still be able to see yourself. This isn't as much of a problem for me as this though. You see, when filming myself away from the camera, I don't want to be seen holding the screen in my hand. I just want to be able to put it away in my pocket. But because any of these buttons could mess up my shot, whether by the joystick or the zoom rocker, even the record button, I just wish Insta360 would add some kind of lock mode for these buttons when it's detached. So I could slip this into my pocket without the joystick, zoom rocker, or record button making any changes. But at the end of the day, how's the image quality out of this thing? It can shoot up to 8K at 30 frames per second, and boasts being engineered by Leica. It also includes a wide range of filters that you can use for photos and videos. To save space and keep things simple, I mostly shoot at 4K 30 frames per second with no filter. And if you want to push the colors of the footage yourself with color grading, you can also choose Dolby Vision or iLog. My one pet peeve though is that there's no color recovery or color assist mode on this camera to be able to preview colors. So you have to record with a washed out image the entire time. Otherwise, you can preview your footage through the Insta360 app, hit edit, apply a filter, all just to get a better idea of what your footage would look like. It's a hassle. Another thing I noticed while filming is that I got a little extra bokeh, that soft blur, pointing the camera at myself. When I look closely, it's almost as if the footage is like cinematic mode on my iPhone, except more accurate. It kind of scared me how good it was from separating me from the background. Let me know in the comments if you even noticed the separation. All the videos that I shot during the day looked great, but let's be real, how is it in low light? Well, there are a few things to note. If you're filming with zoom, the image quality is going to drop, as seen here at 12 times. So if I can, I try to stay between 1 times and 3 times zoom for the best quality. Filming in pro mode, I found that between ISO 800 and 1600 gave me the cleanest image when shooting 4K 30. At the end of the day, it all depends on how much light you have available. I did try filming at ISO 1600 and 2000, but at 4K 60 and 4K 120, which just turned the footage into mush. I could have filmed in pure video mode to improve the image in low light, but I wanted to retain as much detail as I could. But if I really leaned into the strengths of the camera, I would be shooting in daylight, and that way I can have much better image quality in addition to the zoom, and also with slow motion. In the regular video mode, we can shoot up to 4K at 120 for the highest quality, or 1080 at 240 for the slowest video. That means you can still keep the sound and slow down your footage later in your video editing software. If you want the camera to slow down the footage for you, you can film everything in slow-mo mode. But do note that it does strip the audio. I'm not usually a fan of digital zoom, but I think Insta360 really nailed it here. Another thing to note when you film at 240 frames per second indoors is that you may get some flickering, even with the anti-flicker setting on by default. Not a deal breaker, but something to note. This camera also gives us 4 different options for audio. We already know that there's a mic built into the detachable screen, which is excellent. And with these tables far away at least, once you detach the screen from the camera, it's just weak in windy situations. So right now this is a sample of me at the beach with the wind going, and I'm currently using the microphone that's coming straight out of the detachable screen. So how does it sound like? Does it sound like there's noise reduction going on, or can you hear my voice getting drowned out in the wind? Then there's also a mic on the back side that has its own wind cover. This is what it's like when the noise guard is on the camera itself. It's a windy day. What does it sound like when the wind muff is on? Just like it is now. It's not better than having a traditional wind muff, but better than nothing. Then there are 2 wireless mic options, the Insta360's Mic Air and the Mic Pro. You can pair these 2 wireless mics at once, but they do have to match. So you pair either 2 Airs or 2 Pros. I tried to pair 1 Air and 1 Pro together and it didn't work out, just in case you were thinking of borrowing a friend's mic. As far as stabilization is concerned, it definitely meets the standard. Then there's the matter of tracking and composing your shots. If you turn it to yourself and press the joystick, it'll track you well. It's good for keeping yourself centered and stable while doing it. If you turn on deep tracking to be able to keep yourself in a certain part of the frame, it also works great. Also, if your camera is far away and it's tracking you, but then you walk out of frame, it's smart enough to be able to recognize you and continue to track you again once you walk back into the frame. In this specific test, I walked out of the frame, had my friend walk back into the frame, and then I followed. And then it only tracked me. This camera is good at all these little things, but another small pet peeve that I had with this camera is that it doesn't have grid lines. When you use the app, it has this option called horizontal grid, which is what I need. But to be able to use it, I have to use my phone every time. The DJI Osmo Pocket 3 could do this in camera. But anyway, at the end of the day, how long could your Insta360 Luna Ultra keep going? I recorded some endurance tests here in my bedroom, and these are my results. 8K 30 cut off right around 2 hours with 10% battery left, and 4K 30 stopped around 2 hours and 5 minutes. This just shows how good this camera is when it comes to overheating, since it only stopped recording as it got to 10% battery and less. It actually stopped around 2 or 3%. The surprising part is, at 4K 120, a more demanding setting, ran almost 2 hours on battery and never overheated. It was definitely warm to the touch. My average record time was about 2 hours and 14 minutes, so plan your shots accordingly. After my camera cooled down, I started charging this with my 40-watt charger, and the battery filled up around 30 minutes. Some other little things worth knowing about: if you want to save money on storage, the Luna Ultra comes with about 50 gigabytes built in. If you want to shoot true vertical in 4K, you have to turn the camera on its side. Odd, but yes. Insta360 has a lot of cool accessories for this camera, like an earpiece that syncs with your head movements with the camera, and even the traditional extended battery grips. But in these past 30 days, not many of them are released yet, not even from third parties. We only got filters. And if you're planning on taking photos with this camera, you do get a 37 megapixel photo in RAW and JPEG, plus 200 megapixels if you're shooting it in panorama mode. But don't forget, you still have the light filters you can apply in camera. I shot a couple photos by the boardwalk and in church, then edited the RAWs in Lightroom. Similar to the video, the images are great during the day and not so great in low light. This standard combo I bought runs for $769 US. For comparison, it sits near the price of something like the Sony ZV-E10, which is a great vlogging camera for photos and video. Unlike the Sony, the Luna has superior stabilization, a wide zoom range, and a lot of built-in features I believe most creators would benefit from on a small package. If you want better photos, investing in the Sony is going to serve you better. But if you're looking to get a DJI Osmo Pocket 4P or an Extra Muse 2 Pro, well, if you live outside the US, the 4P does look pretty good if you don't care about 8K or having a detachable monitor. As someone who lives in the US, I've given up hope on getting my hands on the Pocket 4P. But I do plan on getting the Extra Muse 2 Pro, as I've already put in a pre-order for myself. After 30 days though, is this Insta360 Luna Ultra really that special, or is it just another pocket camera? For me, it's something special. It keeps up with the competition on the things that matter, like image quality, stability, slow motion, and all in a small form factor. But it also adds real value, with the 2 lenses, the quality zoom, and the detachable screen, which has been worth the price. If you want to see this camera go head to head with the Pocket 3, I've got that video over here.